What's up? What's up? Good day, good day. Happy New Year to everybody. Uh, back up, back up with y'all again. Here it is, the Diehard fan. It's the People's Coach. A little bit off balance, bringing you this show from somewhere in Indiana, Columbia City, Indiana. That's where I am. Shout out to Indiana. Um, First and foremost, I'm gonna start this show off with prayers to Damar Hamlin. Like everybody else, I'm pretty sure everybody, sports fans, are familiar with the story of the Monday Night Football game. Um, Good on the NFL part for canceling the game, uh, but to have to administer CPR on somebody during a sporting event must be tough. A player on the field, you can see all the players were affected. So hopefully, all the players can recover mentally, and the young man recovers health wise. Yeah, rough. After a pretty good Sunday slate of games, the Monday night ended with that tragedy. Um, don't know what else to say about it other than um, condolences to Damar and his family. Um, Lots of good things were said about the young man as well. All the things he does in the community and stuff like that. Uh, Plus, his keep trying and to get out there and play um, from where he came from. Just listening to the different stories um, throughout this week um, really put it on me to be like, man, um, you never know what's going to happen, people. As you can see, the NFL really wasn't prepared for what transpired. But is anybody ever really prepared for something to turn that way? Um, I know the way he collapsed was um, I never seen it before, like in a live sporting event. You see the injuries all the time, but someone just collapsed like that after making a tackle, um, and then being able to stand up and then collapsing, cardiac arrest uh, at 24. Um, Things are serious. It's the people's coach, Cornelius Coast, diehard fan. Um, so I was in, yeah, that was a crazy scene. It was scary. It was difficult to watch. It was difficult to watch. Definitely. I happened to be in um, Columbus, Ohio this past week. Um, yeah. Over the weekend, brought in New Year's in Columbus, Ohio, and I was hanging out at this bar. Shout out to Average Joe's. Good pizza at that bar. If you're ever in Columbus, check out Average Joe's. Good pizza. But um, with all these Ohio State fans, and the nerves was unbelievable when that game started. And by the end of that game, forget hearing a pin drop, and you could hear like the most ridiculous silence I ever heard in my life. Like if you could hear silence, that's what it sounded like. And it was like lots of broken, surrounded by a bunch of Buckeye broken hearts after that, after Georgia, and the guy missed the field goal. And what I wanted to talk about though was the game. For those that saw that game, man, I was disappointed in Stroud. And this is why I was disappointed in that game and Stroud at the end of that game. You ran that far downfield to the 30. Um, why didn't they try to get the ball to the middle of the field to make the kick straight up and down, other than from a hash? One, two, you run the ball on one down, and then you try to throw it on the next two downs. Whereas your best weapon was your quarterback. He should have ran it. I'm sorry, quarterback draw would have been my play call. I don't know about everybody else, but I would have called draw. It was a great game, no doubt, and Georgia deserved to win. Shout out to Georgia for hanging in there. But at the same time, could have done, like I think Ohio State blew a golden opportunity. That's what happens sometimes. This guy took you all the way down there Why not you let them get you a few more yards and set up the an easier field goal? A 50-yard field goal kick is not easy in the pros, much less easy in college with with the nerves and all that thing. But the guy missed the field goal. Now, because but at the same time, you could have made it easier. Um, yeah, no doubt they gave it away. It wasn't just that particular, like coming down to the end, but yeah, in the end, it was rough. Um, in the end, it was rough. Like I said, I was around all. I mean, it was just hush up in that place, like ridiculous silence, um, just unbelievable. Like for me, it was unbelievable silence because, um, like I said, I never heard anything like it, where it's just everybody just quiet. See, look. See, you can hear the noise. You can hear the noise. That was when the game first started. At the end of the game, silence. I didn't record the end of the game because people were in their feelings. Let the people mourn, in their own way. Other than that one guy, it's always that one drunk guy in the bar that's cussing, that's upset. He had to let it be known. But other than that, the rest of everybody else was shook until the music came, until somebody played some music to break up that awfulness. But the diehards, man, that's what I love, being a diehard fan and people representing you. Take nothing away from Ohio State. They did what they thought they could. But how good is Stroud going to be in the near future? He's really going to be a great player. I hope he learned how to win from that game. On the other side of things, the Bulldogs, they look like they for real. But in the other game, TCU, I told y'all, if you listen to me, TCU, I think TCU gonna win. I think they're gonna beat Georgia. I'm gonna put that out there. I'm going for the Horned Frogs. I've been pulling for them all season. The underdog. I know they got big odds against them to win, but and they almost let Michigan come back, which I'm gonna get into Michigan and Harbaugh in a minute. But TCU, two things that we as people can take from that. Um, yes, he's going to be a great pro quarterback, and I'm going for TCU. Shout out to Fort Worth. Shout out to Fort Worth, Texas. But two things that you can take Duggan, take the quarterback for TCU. Young man, young man wasn't even a starter, but went all the way to Heisman Trophy candidate. Wasn't even a starter. He was sidelined by a freshman. A freshman had that job. And when you watch things work, they say the Lord worked in mysterious ways, and it worked in His favor because He did that thing. Um, and yes, they have a great running back. They have a great running back, but they have what I like is the solidarity of the team and building that team like through the transfers. That transfer portal seems like it's gonna be key to a lot of teams' success. To overthrowing the SEC, in my mind, that's what I'm looking at. And then you got Sonny Dykes. What about that? 1 year, 1 year. He should be like a college coach of the year or something. 1 year, and he turned that organization around, and they in the national championship game. So anything can happen. Uh, Anything can happen when you when things come together correctly. Because man, I was impressed. I was impressed that TCU pretty much they led from beginning to end. Michigan made a strong comeback, but that was a good game. Also, two good games, high scoring game. Um, 51 to like 45 or something like that. Like it was a high scoring game. Uh, now Michigan fans, I say they were robbed, which they were. I wouldn't say robbed of the game, but I would say they were robbed of a touchdown in that game. It looked like a touchdown to me, and I guess it looked like a touchdown to everybody except the refs on the field, except the and the replay official, however they replay games. But that's got to be heartbreaking. But now they talking about Harbaugh going to the pros. We hear this every year about Harbaugh. Um, at least the last few years. Um, yes, that's what I like about that transfer is that it's going to help everybody. It's not just Now you won't see all the dominant teams. It's a couple of things I'm gonna talk about college ball, and I'm gonna go through it real quick because there's a lot to talk about. But Harbaugh and all this pro talk, he was good when he was in the pros, but that was years ago. 8 years, 9 years, almost a decade or whatever since he's been in the pros. I think he was better in the pros. That's just my opinion. I'm just a fan, but I think he was better in the pros. Um, no doubt to me. He went all the way. He took a team to a Super Bowl. These last couple of years, he's been able to beat Ohio State. Before that, he couldn't beat Ohio State. And now last couple of years he's been in the playoffs, in the college playoffs. But at the same time, uh, I just think he's better equipped for the pros. That's why he keeps talking. Now, rumor has it he talked to the Carolina Panthers. I saw somewhere that they said rumor had it that they offered him 20 million a year, or talking about 20 million a year. And just to bounce around real quick and just to put this out there, Carolina, you better not do that. That job should belong to Wilkes, man. It should belong to Steve Wilkes. I'm gonna tell you right now, that man has done it. That man has done his thing with that team. Had them, they collapsed, but he had them he had them ready to win and in that division. Where he from? So we already talked about that. Yes, Harbaugh is suited for the pros. Um, why even have a conversation? Everybody can say it's just a conversation with Harbaugh, but why even have that conversation when you already got the man for the job? I don't understand that at all. What is Harbaugh going to do that Wilkes hasn't already proved that he can do and make that team competitive? You almost won the division, so why would you switch that up? You weren't even slated to win the division early on, and this guy took over mid-season or whatever. So, I think Wilkes deserves a chance. Now, what do we think about nepotism in the college world? I mean, so Deion Sanders he moves up, so so his son transfers to Colorado, and they already talking about he may win the Heisman Trophy. Shadir Sanders may win the Heisman Trophy. Now, I'm not mad that it's the father son thing, but ain't gonna be no tryouts. This dude just automatically the quarterback. He just automatically the quarterback. Just automatic. I mean, it's puzzling to me that he'll just be the quarterback, like just like that, like with no problem. Like, okay, that's how we doing it. That's cool, I guess. But nobody said anything about that. Like, so you heard it here on the Diehard Fan. Nobody said anything like, "Whoa, man!" Like, wait a minute. This guy taking over this organization. But how does that feel? I know it's going to be other students transferring in, but I would think that it should be a fair, competitive thing. If Shadur wins the job flat out, he wins the job flat out. But there's no competition. Yeah, I think that's why he made the move. To be honest, I think that's not the sole, because Dion does a lot of good. Take nothing away from what Dion does, but I think a part of it was he knows that Shadir wasn't going to get the look of the NFL completely at a HBCU. So put him on the big stage. Let's see what you got. I mean, I get it. That's a Joe Jackson move right there. We gonna keep it pushing. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever it take, right? You know. Oh yeah, to the next level, no doubt, no doubt. And I think it's a clever, it's a good way to do it. Help others along the way while you're helping out your own family. I mean, I really don't have a problem with it. I'm just gonna put but I just still think that it should be some kind of inkling of fairness within the whole thing. But if he ends up winning the Heisman Trophy, I'm just saying, I know that Colorado already had a quarterback, whether they were good or not. They weren't any good, but to be competitive, there's nothing wrong with that, to compete and win the job. But just to have the job outright, it is what it is, right? But ain't that the same thing that we as Black people have been fighting for a long time? Just saying. Okay, now move along. you know, um, the hookups, the hookup situation, as far as knowing somebody and things like that, like the whole Harbaugh thing, where Harbaugh may go, what he may do. I don't know. Sean Payton, they talked about him. But before I get into the NFL and all that, I'm gonna take a moment right now, and I want to pay homage to Pele. Man, Pele passed away. Um, Soccer player. And I'm not gonna lie, I was coming up as a kid. That's the only name I ever heard. Soccer. Now you got Ronaldo, you got Namir. I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but you got like so many diverse soccer players now, and it's on the map. But all of them were saying the same thing, that if it wasn't for Pele, they probably wouldn't be. And yes, he's the greatest soccer player ever, hands down. And all the things that he did. Yeah, you got Messi, you got all of them, right? The GOAT, paying homage to a GOAT, and to see all those soccer players know the real deal and what's the what. It's not like um, any other sport. I never seen it from any other sport where everybody consensus, no disputes, no anything. Just this guy is the GOAT. That guy is the GOAT. In our American sports, it's so many different GOATs. But yes, three World Cups. Not only that, but it was before my time. But I heard a story about Pele actually coming to the U.S. and playing in an American soccer league that they had back in the days or something, and highlighting that. Playing a couple of years. Um, and I thought that was unique. That he would come to the States and play. Um, I don't know how much money was involved back then, or if that swayed anything. But I like the fact that he went on top and he's undisputed as the goat, the undisputed goat of soccer. Pele, may he rest in heaven. Um, and other things I want to talk about, um, man, NBA. Before the NBA, what's really happening in the NBA right now? We seeing record score of we seeing record numbers. It seems like every other day somebody putting up record numbers. 71 points. That boy dropped 71. 71. No defense. Yeah, there's no defense. Um, I said it before. It's almost like watching All-Star games. Last night I think OKC dropped 150 on the Celtics. Dropped 150 on the Celtics. But back to the Donovan Mitchell, 71, like 71 points. Yeah, it's only going to get worse. Giannis had 50 something the other night, and he's talking about he getting bored. Is it really? So basically, what Giannis is saying, when y'all gonna D up? Is that what he said? Yeah, that must be sad right there. You ain't have him in your daily fantasy. But Giannis is saying, 55 points, but he been putting up 40 something, and then however many rebounds and assists and all that. And then he talking about it might be he talking about if it keeps on, he gonna get bored. It's like, is he challenging the league to play defense? Like Ja challenged the West to step up, and then you seen what happened when he did that. Is Giannis challenging the league to play defense? Is he challenging teams to play a little D, to do something? Because I've seen the Bucks get blown out too. I've seen every team seems like they taking turns getting blown out. And I hate to say it, but I touched up on it last week. But the Nets are looking, man, the Nets are looking real good right now. 12 straight, going 13, whatever. Like they looking real good. They coming together better than I thought. I mean, Vaughn doing his thing, but I think it's the players. Um, take nothing away from Vaughn. But Steve Nash was, we had that. I talked about that a few weeks ago. But Steve Nash was really a problem, huh? Because they playing great right now. I don't know how long they're gonna keep it up, but they came all the way up from the bottom of the East, and now I think they like second. They challenging now. They moving right now. So I think um I told y'all I was gonna get y'all my picks this week for the East, my top five, and the Celtics. For me, the Celtics are at the top. You know how I feel about the Bucks, so I got the Celtics. I got the Bucks, and man, I'm gonna go ahead and put. I'm gonna throw those Nets in there. I don't know if it's gonna show up playoff time, but I'm gonna throw the Nets in there. Um, yes, they do. Is it make or break for the Nets right now? Is it make or break? Do you think it's make or break for the Nets right now? Do they have to win right now? Is this that year where the window closes on them if they don't win the championship, or if they don't make it to the Eastern Conference final, or win the Eastern Conference? Um, is it over for them? We know Kyrie probably won't be back, but is it truly over? And then what about Durant? What happens to Durant after this season? Um, Once Kyrie is out of there or whatever. So I think it's gonna be interesting to see. But that's three, and then I'm gonna go Cavaliers. Cavaliers. You think they had time? I don't know, but like I think I asked the question because my personal opinion, this is it. Especially if Kyrie leaves, I don't see how you gonna replace that scoring. Him and Durant seem to be a powerful. Going back to OKC, I think he gonna say that for retirement or something, right? I don't know. I actually see I can see KD in Miami. To be honest, I can see him teaming up with Jimmy Butler. Man, I'm trying to tell you, I can see him going to Miami. I can see somehow uh, uh, Mr. Riley up there, in the box up there, figuring out a way to get leverage to get a KD in Miami. I think that'll be a good move for him. I think it'll take some pressure off of him, and I think he just wants to go play basketball. Well, guess what? Jimmy Butler wants to just play basketball too. So I think that'll be an interesting uh, tandem right there, because then you got defense, no question, and you got KD who can score from anywhere. I think Miami would be a good move for KD, but who knows? I'm just speculating, but I'm just saying, like, a move like that would be great. Um, yeah, though, but I like the whole what's happening. But all this record scoring is ridiculous right now. At some point, I'm not saying clothesline a guy or go back to playing rubber, man. At least put a hand in their face or something, do something. Um, and the other team I got, since I got four teams, I think right now, the Cavaliers. Well, the Cavaliers will be my fourth team, and I didn't think it was going to happen. I mean, if you follow my show, you probably heard me say that I didn't think Donovan Mitchell was going to make a big of a difference in Cleveland, but he is making a difference, and they could possibly get on a run. You can't exclude them. Um, and my fifth team over there, um, it's hard to pick a 15, but if I had to pick a 15, uh, I'm gonna surprise everybody when I say I'm gonna go with. Even though I don't really like them the way that they are, and I don't like Julius Randle, but I'm gonna throw the Knicks in there, and this is why I'm gonna throw the Knicks in there. Thibodeau is a slept-on coach, in my opinion. He slept on. Um, I think that he can figure out if they can get in. I think he can figure some things out if he can get those guys to play together. So I'm going with the Knicks. I know you got. I know like you don't know what the Hawks are gonna do. I can't trust the Hawks. I can't trust. Uh, I can't trust. Indiana. They was looking at 8, and then they fall out. I don't know. You just can't trust a lot of those teams. Um, but a couple of players I want to talk about to see what people think. That's Sabonis guy. Like, I talked about De'Aaron Fox out of there in Sacramento. But what about this Sabonis? Sabonis got game. I like Sabonis. I didn't know he could play that well, but um, leading the league in double doubles, um, he's impressive. It's saying a lot about the international players. The international players are really stepping up right now. Um, yeah, you're right. The international, they stepping up right now. Um, you know, Siakam. Siakam, I always liked Spicy P, man. I thought he was pretty good. When Kawhi was there, and it's crazy that Spike has a ring already. He already has a ring. Oh yeah, yeah, no doubt. Sabonis is better than his daddy. Like no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. Which is rare, right? Which is rare. You very rarely say that the kids are better than their parents, or at least the American players. We talked about that before. But the international, it seemed like at least Sabonis seems like he's way better, and he's doing his thing. He's doing his thing. Um, I'm liking what Sacramento's doing. Just to go there a minute, um, if the season was over today, they would be in the playoffs. And it's been a drought. Like it's been a decade and a half or something. You know. Um, yeah, his dad had knee problems. Um, but the whole body of work though, before the knee problems and all that, just gotta say that it seemed like the young man just better. It seemed like he doing his thing. Oh, so um, the Kings over a decade and a half, over 15 years or so, however many years it's been, um, not making the playoffs. It looked like, man, what a team, and what a way, and what does that put Mike Brown? Mike Brown finally, in my eyes, finally figured out a way to win. Like I thought he piggybacked off LeBron, and like he was only successful because of LeBron, and he was pretty much proven. I was pretty much proven right for a while, but it does seem like his coaching skills have gotten better. Uh, just observing. Um, so shout out to Mike Brown for for doing this thing, getting better as a coach. We saw what he did. I'm gonna call that a fiasco, like Lupe fiasco. We're gonna call that a Lupe. What he did with the Lakers, that was awful. Um, yeah, his little stint with the Lakers was awful, awful, awful. Princeton offense or whatever it was, it didn't work. It didn't work. Not at all. But um, good what he got going on, and they got a young mix, so they might be a force for years to come. I don't see them winning it all this year. Uh, and before I leave the NBA alone, man, here we go. It's the same old song. I was so happy that some of these players was back. Zion hurt. Um, Zion just seemed like he gonna live hurt. Um, don't know why, but the young man just seemed like he gonna be hurt all the time. Um, I was hoping it wouldn't be that way. Um, but I think hamstring this time, something like that. But he's hurt again, out 3 weeks. And the Pelicans was rolling with him too, like they was doing their thing. I don't think it's gonna, but hopefully, I want to see Zion in the playoffs. I want to see what he has on it. We seen what Ja can do. Now I want to see what Zion can do. So hopefully he'll be healthy coming down the stretch or something. Hopefully he'll get better. Um, but it's like the same old thing in the West. In the West, is any team healthy? Like Luca giving you everything, but I'm saying like in the West, is any team healthy? Because I think that's what's impacting the West right now is all of the injuries, the core players in and out of the lineup. And another, if you listen to me, I'm gonna keep saying it. Y'all see what Jordan Poole doing when Steph Curry went down. What was the Warriors' record? Put Jordan Poole in the starting lineup. What's their record? I believe they got a winning record right now. I believe they have a winning record without Steph Curry right now. I told you, Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole is for real. Y'all gonna see in years to come, but right now you're gonna see right now. Would they take Morant? No, I think they would. Hindsight, I think they made the right choice for them because they were struggling and they found somebody box office. Um, you didn't know that, like Morant surprised everybody. So I'm sure in hindsight, they probably would second guess a little bit about, but nah, I think they comfortable with the Zion Williamson because it's still that allure to we seen, like I said, you seen what Ja can do, and Ja can pack a building. But I think that the unknown, sometimes the mysterious, the unknown, uh, really sells tickets also. So but as far as if I'm them, then yeah, Morant probably was the better pick. But I said it a while ago. It's the it's the curse of the Blue Devil, man. Like it's just something about the Duke players when they hit the league, man. They never all the way healthy. We talked about that before on the show. It's just that curse of the Blue Devil. Um, so it's always a gamble when you take somebody from Duke. Um, that's just my opinion because injuries seem to plague the professional players, from that institution. It just seemed to bother everybody. It's a nagging thing. It's an ongoing thing, and it's been going on for years. Um, all of the top players always seem like they hurt. Kyrie was hurt early on in his career. Remember, coming out of there. Yeah, Grant Hill. Grant Hill would have been that dude. Grant Hill is always that one that, uh, you know. So I ask you this: would Grant Hill be in the GOAT conversation if he never had injuries? Is there a possibility that we could have been talking about Grant Hill up there with the top tier? Would we be talking about Grant Hill in the same light that that they argue about LeBron, Mike, and Kobe? Would Grant Hill have been up there? Because he was a force to be reckoned with out there. And then injuries just pretty much took him out the game. Injuries took him out the game. Yeah, uh, I think so too. I think because he was good all the way around. He could play defense. He had the good mid range shot. He could pass. Man, the assists, the rebounds. I mean, Grant Hill could do everything. I thought he was just like, for his time, he was one of the most versatile players that you ever seen. Now you got 7-footers that do all that stuff. So versatility is becoming a regular thing for everybody. But at his time, Grant Hill, he was that. Yeah, he was that dude, and I thought he was going to be um, really special. But like I said, the injuries, the Duke Blue Devil injuries, man, they seem to still be a thing. But that's just something that I came up with like a long time ago. As far as man, these Blue Devils, they always stay hurt, and it seems to be a trend. Um, so um, looking at the Eastern Conference, I'm gonna ride with the Bucks, and I'm gonna ride with the Bucks to the end. I'm just gonna put that out there. I'm not gonna switch on the Bucks. Um, I think the Bucks. Um, I think the Bucks, when if they can all get together and play, if they healthy. I know they not as illustrious as some of those other teams. I know they're not a Kyrie and Durant. They not the Celtics with Brown and Tatum. You know they not Tyler Hero or Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler. They none of that. It's not Mobley and Garland and Mitchell. You know, it's just Giannis and his dudes. You could say Middleton, you could say Drew Holiday, but really and truly, those names are not as popular as the other names that I listed. So I just look at it like I just think that the Bucks they're gonna outwork you. I think in the 7 game series they'll outwork any team. If you don't blow them off the floor right away or put them away, I think they'll just outwork you. They'll wear on you. It's sort of like what I like the Bucks to me are like they like a old school Bill Parcells football team. They just keep coming at you with the physicality. They just keep leaning on you and hitting you. And Bill Parcells, 3 yards. Those that know what I'm talking about. 3 yards at a cloud of dust. Like you know, um, the Tennessee Titans when they had Eddie George or whatever. Just keep coming at you and just keep leaning on you. And that's what I see with the Bucks. And I think they can suffocate teams. And the Bucks can hold teams to 90. But can you hold them to 90? But all they need is 91. So like I think the Bucks can shut a team down, whereas other teams haven't proven to be able to do that. Like I said, you got to blow them out. Remember a few years ago in the Eastern Conference Finals when Kyrie was before Kyrie had got injured. Remember, it looked like the Nets was about to do them boys, man. The Nets beat them by 50 in a playoff game. Giannis got smoked by 50. It was nothing they could do. They just got beat. you know, I think that's the way you have to beat the Bucks. Yeah, they still a man down, and they still playing decent. And they not. They take their lumps here and there, but that's what I'm saying. That's why I think they got the most upside. That's why I think they're gonna be better than every team when it's all said and done in the East. Um, but the Nets, it could be the Nets' turn. Like they could finally, 3 years, 4 years deep with the KD and Kyrie experiment. This could be the year that they make it to the NBA Finals. Um, but I personally think that even if the Bucks make it, I personally think the champion. Uh, I think the champion coming out of the West. I just think the champion coming out of the West. Um, I picked the Clippers early, and I'm still ride with that a little bit, but those boys got to start playing on a regular. But so I'm looking at. So if you ask me, it's gonna be Clippers Bucks in the playoffs in the NBA Finals. In the NBA Finals, it's gonna be Clippers Bucks. That's my early take on it. That's my early prediction. I'm just going, and I'm gonna ride with that. I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna keep it right there. And moving on from the NBA, get into this NFL real quick. Yes, Clippers. Yes, sir, Clippers. Um, I think I think coming down the stretch. Here's the thing. This is why I say the Clippers. Coming down the stretch, it's gonna be impressive. Um, I think if man, it's all predicated on Kawhi being there. If Kawhi is there, then they shutting every team. They shutting every team down in the playoffs. Um, you know, if he can play, if he 80%, it's gonna change things. I think that combination of him and Paul George on the perimeter, um, you ain't getting too many easy open looks with those dudes out there, man. I think defensively, and I think Teron Lue. I just think next to Steve Kerr over there in the West, I think Teron Lue is the second best coach right now, and I'm saying that, and Popovich still coaching. But I think Teron Lue had those guys ready, and they deep. Like the depth of that team is impressive. They can keep throwing bodies at you. And that Zubac turned the corner a little bit. Now, you know, I wonder if the Lakers regret just letting him go for next to nothing. Let him walk right across, let him stay in the same building or whatever. But I wonder if they regret letting him go. I wonder if they regret that. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I still like, that's what I'm saying. If he's healthy, but if he's healthy, I think the Claw wins. I think he wins another championship. I think he gets number three. Um, I just think he gets number three. I think George gets his first one. I think Teron Lue gets his second. As a coach. Um, because I don't really see, like the Warriors, they'll be around. We can talk all those other teams, but we know that it's going to be veterans when it all comes down to it. It's not going to be the young teams. The young teams gonna have to stun. They're gonna have to stun. Um, when it gets to the playoffs, it just seems like veterans always win out. That combination of veterans and young talent, it seems like that's the best way to go. That's why the Celtics are up there, because even though they in their early 20s, early to mid 20s, you got to think Brown and Tatum are veterans in the league. Like they 5 and 6 year veterans in the league. They just happen to be young. Um, so I think it comes down to the veterans. Which is why another reason why the Bucks, Lopez and all those guys, Lopez, Holiday, Middleton, those guys all those guys are veterans. Giannis, veterans. Like those guys been around for a while, and I think the cohesiveness of the veterans wins out. Where you saw what happened to Memphis. Um, Memphis fell apart last year. They played decent, and then Morant's knee gave out, and at the most inopportune time, they weren't going to beat the Warriors anyway, but they were going to make it. They were going to make it look good. They were going to make losing look good. If you can make losing look good, I think they were going to make it look good. But while I got a little time, jump into this NFL. So Sunday was some pretty good games, and I'm gonna start this off by just saying the Minnesota Vikings. If you're a diehard Minnesota Viking fan, you know, you gotta. I wouldn't want to be a. I wouldn't want to be a fan. You hear me talk about it all the time. As a recent resident, as a recent former resident of Minnesota. Yeah, no, no, like they so disappointing. They are. They are just so disappointing. The Vikings are so disappointing. Um, Man, you had one job, and your job was to beat the Packers, and they got blown out. I mean, for a team that got like 12 wins or 11 wins, however many wins they got blown out. I mean, wasn't even close. Wasn't even a good game. Justin Jefferson, one catch, 15 yards. Jair Alexander talked that noise and he backed it up. The Green Bay Packers, his team backed it up. They didn't let after letting this guy have a record day against them early in the season. They said, "Nuh-uh, not this time. You got to go somewhere else." And I've been saying that about Kirk Cousins is that it's not even just the coach not being able to adjust. It's Cousins not able to adjust when you take away his main weapon. You know, um, yeah, he did disappear because they put the clamps on him. They weren't going to let him get anything. They said they dared sort of beat them in a way. And what I was so disappointed in with the Vikings was forget the defense not being able to stop, but Dalvin Cook, like at least throw him the ball. I mean, do something. Like he your second best player in my opinion on that squad, and six carries in that game. I mean, I know Green Bay was running away with it early, but but the turnovers, yeah, man, what a disappointment. Another disappointment was the Panthers. Um, but you already saw that outcome. You saw, I mean, that was easy to predict. It was easy to predict that Brady was going to figure out a way to win that game. Um, it's just awful. Yeah, Cousins is always suspect. But shout out to his because he's always able to keep job. Like, you know, um, Cousins would not be on my team. Um, when he was in Washington, I didn't really like him, but like he parlayed that into like they talk about him like he's great, but if you go how they say if you go beyond the numbers and you really just look at his body of work, it's not that impressive. I mean, and these days, um, lots of quarterbacks are putting up good numbers, good completion rates, and all that stuff. So that doesn't woo me. But every big game this guy has had, he has folded. Every big game, every big game. It is never, you know, it's never been a fierce comeback. You can't talk about Kirk Cousins. You can talk about, oh, they came back 33 points down on the Colts, but is that really impressive? Um, it's impressive for a moment, but then when it's time to really shine, you know, against against a team that's not, in my opinion, not even that strong, like you know, but I got to give Green Bay they props because they did it without Aaron Rodgers really being on his game or whatever. Aaron Rodgers really had an average game, and the running backs really shined. The running backs really shined in that game, and the defense really stepped up. But and that puts it right here scenario: the Packers are going to make the playoffs now because they're going to beat the Lions. This is my opinion. The Lions are going to fold too. Um, yeah, they're going to beat the Lions and the Packers. I mean, just a few weeks ago, I was saying the Packers was done. Everybody was saying the Packers was done. So I got to eat crow on that. You can't. It seems like we can't get rid of Brady and Rodgers. You know, um, you can't get rid of them. Like it's like nothing you do. It's like they baby kids. You can't get rid of them at all. It's like sure they don't die, they multiply because they still keep coming. I'm just looking at like the roster offensively for Green Bay is not that impressive. But the young talent, they starting to catch the ball, and you see how Aaron Rodgers sing that song. Um, right. He takes no blame when the team having a hard time, but then he take all, but then he knows everything all of a sudden when they win it. Well, I knew it was going to be this way, and I knew this, and I knew if we did this. I mean, that wasn't what he was saying earlier. Everybody heard him say it earlier. People should be benched. People should be, they shouldn't be starting with him. Everybody heard all the noise he was talking, but that's what Aaron Rodgers does. You know what I'm saying? That's what that's just who he is. Him as a person, I've never been thrilled with. As a player, he's always been pretty decent. But and I think he's held the team for hostage, which is why they aren't that good, or they haven't reached all the way to the top because they so busy worried about what he doing that they don't pay linebackers, they don't pay tight ends, they don't do simple things. They don't want to keep receivers, you know, so you get back what you put sometimes, and it shows that they only got one Super Bowl ring out of Aaron Rodgers, uh, doing it that way. So beyond Aaron Rodgers, though, like I said, the Carolina Panthers. Wow, I was disappointed in the Panthers. I really thought they had a chance. I picked the Buccaneers to win that game because I know Brady. You never bet against Brady. Um, and what about the Pittsburgh Steelers? Hang there. Now they may not make the playoffs because they got to let a lot of things happen for them to make the playoffs. But Tomlin can still have a winning record. Like he wins this weekend, he wins this Sunday. He still has a winning record. He gets a winning record. And so that means, like, would he be the only coach to coach as long as he have and never have a losing season? He hasn't had one losing season. What other coach can you name that hasn't had that? Yeah, Stephen A is always on that guy, as he called him, a bad man. He always, you know, on the Rogers train. But I see Stephen A. You know, he does that with Rogers. Um, like I think some of those sports personalities have they favorites, and I don't know why Stephen A. likes Aaron Rodgers so much. Um, you know, like I said, I've been a fan of the ball play, but not as a person. Like he just he played. You can't throw your team out there like that, and then all of a sudden take all the credit when y'all start winning, especially when you didn't really do much in the game to win the game. You pretty much just managed the game and didn't have as many turnovers as the other team or whatever. But you know, so looking at the things, when we knew the Jets had collapsed, um, Seattle, they're not gonna get in because that last spot, the seventh seed in the NFC is going to be the Green Bay Packers. We might as well go ahead and check that box. If they lose, then it's going to either be the Lions or the Seahawks, depending on whatever. But I don't see them losing. And we talked about it last week, but Washington blew it again. They blew it again. I said it last week. You starting Carson Wentz, and you seen what happened. Like, wow. And now, so this week, they starting the rookie, Sam Howell. I mean, Ron Rivera was a decent coach to me. I don't know what's gotten into him. Like, what was he thinking? He gambled on Wentz to, and you had everything to gain by winning a game last week. And now this week, it's over, and just that quick is over for you. Three interceptions later, a couple of fumbles later, it's over for you. Like, why would you do that? Like, come on, Ron, get that together. Um, but now you see the star on my hat, so you know who I'm riding with. Yeah, Riverboat Run, but he gambled on the wrong somebody. I guess it happens sometimes, but I'm gonna have to, like I wish I could meet these coaches. What was his name? Recently departed Indianapolis, rid of him earlier this year. Sam White's whatever. I think that's his name. Um, but I just wonder why they keep. What's the fascination with Carson Wentz? Like, why does he keep having a job? Every time you turn around, he got a job. Like, I don't know. I don't know, man. It's other quarterbacks out there. They do know there's other quarterbacks out there, right? That's not named Carson Wentz that could probably win you a meaningful game. Just saying. I would have went with Heineke, but obviously they don't like Heineke. They don't think Heineke's good enough. It happens. Um, and shout out to Sam Darnold for playing better. He didn't play all that well against the Buccaneers, but he did play well. I'm gonna get into my picks. Um, Running down the stretch here for this weekend games. I know it's going to be tough for the players to play, but Chiefs, Raiders. Of course, I'm taking the Chiefs in that one, even though the Chiefs just playing for probably home field or something like that. Titans, Jaguars. Now that's going to be a game. The Jaguars have done their thing, and they're going to beat Tennessee. The Jaguars are going to beat Tennessee. Tennessee doesn't have a quarterback. They don't have much of anything going well for them this year. Poor Vrabel, the poor boy this week. That's who it is. Vrabel, Mike Vrabel. That's hard name to say, but Vrabel, man. I feel bad for him. You know, things collapsed on him. Ravens, Bengals. Um, we know the Bengals were a part of that tragic Monday night game. Don't know if their minds are going to be on football, uh, which understandably, if it's not, but I'm gonna take the Bengals anyway in that game. Um, I got no faith in the Ravens. Out, I barely had faith in them with Lamar, much less without Lamar. But here's the thing: if the Ravens were to get into the playoffs, well, they are going to be in the playoffs. But if they was to make some noise in the playoffs, made it to an AFC Championship game with Huntley, because I don't know if Lamar gonna play anymore this year. Um, I think he probably just said, I know he's injured or whatever, but I think he probably just said, I ain't got a contract. I think he finally realized it ain't worth it without a contract. So, um, with that being scenario, what if Huntley takes them to the AFC champ, or they get to the AFC Championship game with Huntley? Then where does that leave Lamar? Like, are they more apt to pay him, or would they just say nah? Would they just say nah? Hmm. I mean, it's something to think about. Um, I don't think they will. By the way, he said he won't. I'm just saying, stranger things have happened. You know, stranger things have happened. Man, the Ravens went to the Super Bowl with Joe Flacco. Before that, they went to the Super Bowl with Trent Dilfer. Just let that sink in. Anything can happen. You know, just saying, they got a habit of going places with no name quarterbacks. Browns, Steelers. I'm taking the Steelers. I think the Steelers are gonna go ahead and get that. They're gonna keep themselves alive. They're gonna give themselves a chance. Tomlin ain't gonna fold. Um, and I told y'all early on, Pickett is gonna be something. He may not be a Ben Roethlisberger, but he gonna be something. Decent enough for what Pittsburgh needs. Vikings, Bears. At this point, who cares? Justin Fields not playing for the Bears. Um, the Bears are trying to they looking for seeding. They looking for their own seeding to either get the first or second pick. In the draft. They want the first pick, but I think they're gonna end up with the second pick in the draft. And I think they're taking a receiver. If I'm them, I'm taking. I know who I'm taking. If he comes out, yes, he is decent. If he comes out, take Marvin Harrison Jr. If you the Bears, that should be your only pick. Another, I know he's Ohio State, but that would be my pick if you the Bears. If he's coming out of the draft, take him. Um, the Patriots, Bills, Buffalo. Man, with tragedy, now they definitely won't be paying attention to the game. Um, as much as they worry about their teammate, um, which is and it's sad because you would think they might want to win one, but I think they want to win it all. So this one game is not going to hurt them. They know they're in the playoffs. Um, That would be smart. That would be smart for them. But you trade down, mm, and you get more picks. Is like I think it would be hurting Justin Fields if you don't get somebody that he can throw the ball to, so he doesn't have to run as much. You can't run him to death. Um, I'm taking the Patriots. Um, Belichick is going to give himself a chance. They control their own destiny. I say the Packers. I mean, I say the Patriots play their way into that 7 spot over there. Uh, win they in. So I think Belichick gonna get it done. He gonna get in, and that'll be it. They one and done when they get in, but he at least gonna extend the season to wild card. Uh, Jets Dolphins, man, um, that game. I'm gonna go ahead and put it out there. The Jets are gonna win that game because the Dolphins. Who quarterbacking for the Dolphins? Bridgewater was hurt. Is he going to play? Even if he plays, it doesn't matter. Poe Teddy Bridgewater too, man. He can't seem to stay off the injured list. Um, so and here's a scenario. I know I got a few minutes left, but here's a scenario that I'm gonna leave right here, and I'm gonna pick it back up next week. But it's just something to think about. Since my other show is called Stimulate Your Mind, which Stimulate Your Mind airs every Tuesday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern, iHeart, Apple Music, Tuned In, Radio, etc. So, but here's a scenario: the Dolphins. Remember, they were talking about Rob Gronkowski was talking about him and Brady possibly was going there a few years ago or whatever. Uh, but then things changed because they decided to stick with Fitzpatrick. Well, with the way Tua's injury is right now, and you don't know with Tua's playing career suspect or whatever, he may miss a season or whatever with all the concussions and stuff like that. Scenario: the Buccaneers lose in the playoffs. Tom Brady and Gronkowski hook up in Miami for 1 year, and then you have the GOAT playing with Tyreek Hill, Waddle, and the rest of them boys. Wilson in the backfield. Man, think about that. It's something to think about. Rolling on Buccaneers, Falcons. Since the Bucks are in the playoffs, they got it wrapped up. I don't think they're gonna. I'm the Bucks. I don't even think the GOAT should play in that game. It's meaningless. You already the fourth seed in the playoffs. So I'm going Falcons. Panthers. I'm gonna go ahead and take the Panthers just because they play it for pride. They let it slip away. Texans, Colts. Now that's a game of you know, um, but I think the Texans want that first overall pick, so I'm going to Colts. Um, Cardinals, 49ers. Um, I'm gonna take the 49ers. I don't see the Cardinals having anything on it. And my Cowboys, how about them Cowboys and the Commanders? Now here it is right here. Um, the Commanders are probably gonna win that game. I would like for the Cowboys to win it to put the pressure on the Eagles, which I didn't talk about as far as like my if the Eagles lose and the Cowboys win, then we leapfrog them and we'll be either the first or second seed, depending on what San Francisco does. Like those scenarios are wide open. But I just think my Cowboys, I don't think we're gonna take the Commanders serious. I don't even think we're gonna care. Um, Rams, Seahawks. Um, I'm going Seahawks there. I think the Seahawks will give themselves a chance to be in the playoffs. Um, I'm going, and then the Giants, Eagles. You might as well go ahead and give the Eagles that game because the Giants already said they ain't playing those starters. They already know they got the 6th seed locked up, so they ain't playing those starters. So the Eagles gonna win that game no matter who at quarterback. Um, Chargers, Broncos. I'm going with the Chargers in that game. Uh, Lions, Packers. I already told you Green Bay gonna win that game. Like just to add on to Aaron Rodgers' legend and to make him seem correct all of a sudden. Um, but we all know what's the what. But anyway, that's it. And before I get out of here again, hopefully Hamlin recovers. And hopefully, everybody still comes out and competes at a high level in the wake of something so disturbing. Um, everybody have a good rest of the week. Um, Catch y'all next week, 8 p.m. Eastern. The People's Coach Cornelius Cole. Shout out to Sports for America for putting me on. Um, Nerd Focus, the energy drink. Remember to check that out. And if you see the scrolls at the bottom of the screen, feel free to reach out to me about those things. Have a nice one.